Play of the game from way down.
True, Silence, Rainer getting absolutely
A team wipe.
The living bomb's going.
Oh my goodness, the ring! Bombstastic gonna find Rainer!
Hello everybody and welcome to the Nexus Gaming Series. Today we're going to do a couple of replay casts here for you. Don't forget that we do have the mead hall tonight, so obviously if you're watching this in the future, that certainly won't help you. But for those of you watching live, make sure to tune in for that. But we are doing a replay cast, and this is of a second week matchup. So of course we're on an old what do they call it? An old patch. There we go. I gotta fix everything here just real quick. And let's take a quick look at the maps, and then we'll get right into the game as we don't have the draft. Our maps, we had Ghosts of Yavapai banning out Cursed Hollow and Towers of Doom, with WeThePepegas banning out the Dragonshire and Battlefield of Eternity. Alright, I just want to make sure here. I got our teams loaded, and I just want to make sure they're on the right side. Looks like they are. Our first game is going to be on Volskaya Foundry. This was the selection of WeThePepegas. Alright, here we go. Game number one, Volskaya Foundry here. Still sounds a little loud. Let's fix that real quick. That down. Alright, so on the left we have the Ghosts of Yavapai. We've got Hybrid Remix playing Orphea, Andrade on the Uther, Shank B on Taronda there, Lilo Bell on the Lily, and Mega Milk gonna be playing Kira. On the right, WeThePepegas. We got Afreya on Stukov, Battle Hill on Johanna, Luchamite playing the Zul'jin. We got Ryder on the Azmodan, and Chelsea playing... oh my, okay. Playing the Chromie. Alright, so checking in on the talents here. So we do have the Deep Breathing from Chromie. A little bit of a less often picked talent here, but should be able to get a lot of value on these points. Yeah, that is definitely still way too loud. Let's get this turned down. Options, sound. Oh, it's still so loud. See if that's any better. Alrighty, so what else do we have out there? We've got Hammer of the Lightbringer for Uther, so he's going into that auto attack. So Uther really their primary tank in this. A triple healer comp at least, if not support. Going into a kind of a magey comp with the Chromie and Azmodan with that sustain from Zul'jin. So we'll see how this works out. I'm not really sure which team I think gets the advantage here. One team can put out a lot of damage, but the other team can prevent that damage with armor reduction, or I'm sorry, with armor, but also has the armor reduction to help out when, say, Kira gets onto a hero. But XP so far here, pretty close. A slight advantage over to the Ghosts of Yavapai. They're beginning to start some work on their fortification camp here. But nothing yet from WeThePepegas. Neither camp of interest to them just at the moment. They're trying to get their stacks as much as possible on Azmodan. And of course Zul'jin wants to stack as well. So this is a very late game comp for WeThePepegas. Now, Volskaya Foundry typically does go pretty late, so there is that for them. And the blinds certainly will help against the Zul'jin. So it's kind of an interesting setup here. Point counterpoint in the draft, I imagine, as some of these heroes were picked. Chromie gonna head back. Level 4 is available for both teams. And we're gonna see the Control Point A announcement here very soon. Stukov heading over to start work on the siege camp for WeThePepegas. As Chromie had to Hearth, needed a little bit of mana before this control point gets summoned, and there it is. Asmodan, however, in a bit of a dangerous place with Uther and Orphea. Gonna be able to make it out. Asmodan has a whole lot of health, so he's pretty much able to just walk away. Because this is an older patch, we can't check quest talents in the overlay, so we have to check manually on the individual. So 57 stacks so far for Asmodan, about 10 per level so far, but of course level 7 is when Asmodan gets a little bit easier time stacking, depending on which talents he takes. But getting on to the control point right now, we got WeThePepegas coming in with 3, and the silence there from Stukov, zoning out the Tyrande, so just gonna get pushed away for a moment. And Lilobel, they're saying, hey, we don't want to give this up just yet. So Asmodan throwing out again the additional globes, as the percentage now started for WeThePepegas. Hero working on getting that level 7 advantage, almost a full level ahead is GhostsOfYavapaiCMYCCaSTT. So once they have 7 here, I expect we'll see them kind of collapse and maybe work to get onto this control point. And here comes Uther. We see Zul'jin and Chromie still in their off lanes, but both of them heading up now. 60% so far for WeThePepegas. There's the stun onto Stukov. Kira getting the revolving sweep, and that's going to be first blood. And the turret did get dropped there. Stukov not giving that away, but with that combination of Uther stun plus Tyrande stun plus Kira with that revolving sweep, and of course there's that little knockback at the end of revolving sweep, assuming you reactivate it. Gonna be able to lock down Stukov long enough, and he just didn't have enough support, right? He didn't have the assistance of Johanna there, really was kind of stuck in his own position there. But Stukov is back, and level 7s are now here for WeThePepegas. So both teams on even talents, a little bit behind in XP, but same level, same talents, no advantage just yet. As 70% achieved so far here for GhostsOfYavapaiCMYCCaSTT, but Zul'jin gonna get caught by Mega Milk there. A big orb coming from Asmodan, but it's just not gonna be enough here. Almost enough from the Chromie. That Dragon's Breath really did some work on Lily, and you can see Lily is completely out of mana here. So she's gonna hop into the Protector. That Protector, of course, doesn't give them any kind of healing or mana return, but what it does do is you still collect healing globes there. So you can find if you go into the Protector and you're at 20%, but you get all the healing globes, you can find yourself nearly full when you come out. Laser going, it's gonna hit all of the structures. I really like to see that. Gonna get that wall down, and so that super punch from the Protector gonna land onto Asmodan. They are gonna be able to get this well down, but now Lily and Uther have to kind of make their way out of here. They're not exactly the safest, especially when you've got Johanna with that Condemn, but GhostsOfYavapaiCMYCCaSTT up a level and a half at this point, basically saying, what are you gonna do? And keep in mind, you do get those bonus to damage and health from having the additional levels. But level 10 is coming up here very soon for GhostsOfYavapaiCMYCCaSTT. And there they are. So maybe even a little bit late starting on this, but this is a relatively safe camp. They, generally speaking, will have a pretty good idea if the enemy team's coming in. But instead, GhostsOfYavapaiCMYCCaSTT picks up the support camp. They're going to head over to their own siege camp. I'd like to see some kind of value out of this, right? They've got the full level advantage here for quite some time. And their talents. Like, the only thing that WeThePepegas has right now is Temporal Loop. So right now, spreading up and just getting more XP, like, isn't getting you where you want to get to here. So we've got Divine Storm there for Uther, the Crushing Jaws, Jug of 1,000 Cups. Kind of surprised to see that. With as many support characters as we have on the side of Ghosts of Yavapai, I kind of would have expected to see a little bit more of a damage build from Lily. It's going to be the Final Strike for Kira and Lunar Shower? Starfall, there we go. Starfall for Tyrande. Level 10 is now available here for WeThePepegas, so it's going to be Massive Shove, Blessed Shield. We already talked about that Temporal Loop, Taz Dingo, and the Tide of Sin for Asmodan. So Temporal Loop, you've only got the one cleanse on the side of Ghosts of Yavapai. That being said, you do have an Uther, so I mean Uther can still provide at minimum the armor from his Devotion Aura, as we see there with the 25 armor. He also took the Holy Shock, so Holy Shock's going to give him the ability to attack enemies with his Holy Light, giving himself the armor and a shorter cooldown. So here we go. Stun onto Zul'jin. There's overlapping the stuns here, so Zul'jin probably going to be able to make it out thanks to that. If they waited a little bit, I think maybe they get the Zul'jin there. But having... Oh, unfortunately, we missed that. Not a lot of kills in this game, but that could have been another one if the Lunar Flare and Divine Storm hadn't overlapped. But good job to Kira to be able to take out Asmodan. I don't feel like Asmodan is... he's going to do well into Kira, so Asmodan has to be careful there when dealing with that kind of a hero. He's got a really beefy health pool, but he can't just hang out halfway up in the lane if Kira's there. And Ghosts of Yavapai are going to get started on the channel first. We do hear that time trap going out, activating. Bottom lane is continuing to mount pressure, and of course Asmodan can throw out his Demon Lieutenant to assist those. Down here we've got Zul'jin being revolved on by Kira, but Kira having to pull away. She doesn't have any support right there. Zul'jin's going to use his regeneration, but move away almost immediately after casting it. And the Final Strike did land, but it didn't get the kill. There's the Biotic Emitter. Kira going in, trying to make use of the full value of Revolving Sweep. The Divine Storm coming in. Asmodan going to fall, as is Johanna. A double kill coming out from Ghosts of Yavapai. Really strong there. The Massive Shove sending Uther all the way back. And that's going to be Protector going over to Ghosts of Yavapai once again. And with the stun lock potential from Ghosts of Yavapai between Uther, both stuns, you've got Tyrande, technically Orphea, if you know she sets that up right, and then technically Kira. So I mean, you've got a lot of ways that you can stun lock a hero to death. Mid wall going to fall. They're not going to go for the well. They're instead going to head down to the bot lane. See what they can get going here. Now let's take... Oh, I was just going to say, let's take a look at Asmodan, but it looks like he just got his 200 stacks, right? Yeah. How about for Zul'jin? Zul'jin is sitting at 76. Now I'm surprised to see Zul'jin at the top because Zul'jin could be stacking on the Protector. This is the second Protector. Could find himself much higher on those stacks if he's down here attacking the Protector. Of course, the Protector would fall a lot faster as well. He did go into this Grievous Throw build as well, so I kind of expect at 16 to see him take, I don't know the name of it, but it's the Ignores Armor ability, which would be really strong when you're talking about Uther. Also against Kira, because at level 4 Kira took the stacking armor buff there.
We'll make adjustments accordingly.
So wouldn't be surprised to see that. Technically, even Lily at level 20 might go into that fast feet talent that gives her the additional armor as well. But Zul'jin with the Lunar Flare, the raw flare, locking down Zul'jin, and then the Crushing Jaw is going to be taken out. Asmodan not really in a position to do much. As mentioned, he's just a big guy. Now, Asmodan did recently receive some adjustments, if I remember correctly. I don't know if it was before or after this patch, because this has been a little while. This is the beginning of December. Asmodan did receive an adjustment to his trample. I think they brought that from 20 down to 16 maybe. So that gives him a little bit of mobility. And I think they adjusted the damage on it as well. So it's not saying that's the pick, but it is a pick. Chromie gonna get caught by the Uther, and with that double stun from Tyrande and the Divine Storm, they're gonna get the Chromie. The combination as well able to take out Johanna. So just from Uther being in this bush right here and Chromie not catching that, and losing 2 heroes for that. 9 kills to 0 so far in favor of Ghosts of Yavapai. 1 fort down in the bottom lane so far. And the next protector coming in that bottom lane. Things looking pretty strong so far in this game for Ghosts of Yavapai. As they make their way onto their second tower in the mid lane. So second fort will go down, taking some damage here. Temporal Loop going out onto Kira. Now, yeah, I was gonna say she could even use her revolving sweep. She missed. The cleanse went out onto somebody else. Actually, it's gonna be Lily that falls. And it might not be the only one. Zul'jin with his autos thrown out there trying to catch somebody. Getting some stacks at the very least. Uther looks like it was going to fall as well. So with the turret here, the turret's going to soak up the damage from the fort. So WeThePepegas now able to get some value here, thanks to getting their first 2 kills of the game. Now their siege potential is in Asmodan, it's in Zul'jin with his auto attacks. So right now Zul'jin clearing up the top lane will push up that lane a little bit. Let's check in. How is Zul'jin doing on stack? So 88 out of 150. We've got Asmodan sitting at 322. So Asmodan should be able to get to the 400 mark before level 20, and that's going to provide a lot of value for him. This is where we're going to start seeing this comp come online, especially as we get closer to level 20, when Chromie gets 18. Oh, a big stun onto Kira, and they lose the biotic emitter now. WeThePepegas coming on strong now. They've got their Asmodan over his halfway mark. They've got Zul'jin over his halfway mark, so the potential is here. Speaking of Zul'jin, let's check in on up in the top lane there, as he got a little low to Orphea using that regeneration. So it's up to Ghosts of Yavapai at this point to get to level 20 earlier than WeThePepegas. But they're not, I mean, they're not an insurmountable amount of XP ahead either. Zul'jin's been really focusing on keeping WeThePepegas in the XP fight, which is a little surprising to say, right? Because you'd almost want your Zul'jin chasing down these heroes, getting those stacks so that he gets that extra cleave. What did we get here? So let the killing begin, that's the extra haste. So it's actually not the armor penetration, but still keeping that Grievous throw on heroes for longer and not going away after just a couple hits can still provide a lot of value. There's the turret, and Demon Lieutenant came in, but the demons are walking away. Big Divine Storm pulling in with the Crushing Jaws. Freya very low on the Stukov, but here comes Temporal Loop onto Uther. Not gonna matter, he's gonna get out. Johanna, however, will not, but all the heroes here so very low. If only Zul'jin had attacked in the right direction there, instead looking for the Lily to get the kill. The stun coming out onto Asmodan, and that's gonna be a quad kill for Ghosts of Yavapai there in the bottom lane, and now they pick up their 3rd protector of this game. And I can't help but think that that was just a lack of coordination. It felt like overall WeThePepegas in that one didn't quite know what they were doing, where they were going with that. They just kind of said, let's go in and see what happens. And unfortunately, the ball did not bounce in their favor on this one. Protector going to get the bottom keep. The full team for WeThePepegas coming up, though. Asmodan about 10 seconds late. And with the Protector at half health, gonna see Ghosts of Yavapai make their way onto the court. Kira gonna go in hardcore, was pushed in with the glove onto, I think it was Johanna. The massive shove now pushing her back out, so she's coming back. Final strike being used does not take out the Stukov. And there goes the protector, but it's gonna be Tyrande falling down from Zul'jin, just going crazy here. Gets the kill onto Orphea as well. Uther coming in with the Divine Storm, but I don't know that Uther can really delay this. I mean, he's pretty much gotta just essentially sacrifice himself. Now, he does come back, but he's gonna come back in probably not the best location, right? He's coming up here. He's gonna try to Hearth. The catapult's gonna catch him. And can he find a place away from everybody? He's got the ability to heal himself. Doesn't take it. So can Zul'jin catch this? Guess not. Uther gets away. Wow. I can't believe that happened. All right, well, now with 2 heroes down on the side of Ghosts of Yavapai, we've got a little bit of a power play here for WeThePepegas. They still are down about a third of a level from level 20. So there is that. Now let's check in on these level 20. So it's Engulfing Oblivion. Reducing the cooldown significantly when you get a hero kill. Oh, okay, so Uther's gonna get the temporal loop. Can he get out of this? Oh, the massive shove pushing Uther onto the conveyor belt up above. Can they catch him? And Chromie's doing her best to try to get him. Is not gonna get him with that shot at least. But you know what? Stukov gets him with his bio kill switch, and that's a lengthy death now that Ghosts of Yavapai have to deal with. 13 kills to 7. What do we have for the rest of these upgrades? We have the Mistweaver, so a nice AoE heal for Lily, so that's a huge benefit. It's also reduced by fast feet, so very valuable for her to have that AoE heal. We also got the Unleashed potential, additional damage, but also if she kills a hero within a period of time after hitting them with Final Strike, it resets all of her cooldowns, just like the upgraded Go for the Throat for Greymane in the Ice Blade Hours. So increasing attack speed, but also reducing damage from anybody she attacks. Meanwhile, for WeThePepegas, we've got the top off, so extra healing for Stukov there. We got Blinded by the Light, a pretty significant shield that has a cooldown reduction when hitting people with, Shield Glare. And then Chromie going with that Piercing Sand, so she's able to hit more than one hero, or I guess more than one target. It is going to be Pride, I think. Yep, Pride for Azmodan, so the larger circle with the larger damage. And then Amani Resilience, so increased Taz Dingo duration, but he's also going to get healing now from those auto attacks. So don't be surprised if that fight we saw down here in the bottom lane turns completely around now the next time Taz Dingo comes out for WeThePepegas. Here comes the 4th Protector control point, A, in the mid. All of these Protectors have gone over to Ghosts of Yavapai. And you can tell because we've got the keep down here in the bot lane. But WeThePepegas has opened up the map. They've taken down all of the forts, so they've at least equalized 2 lanes. There's the Chromie time trap, but Uther's going in with the Divine Storm. He's gonna get chunked down by Zul'jin. The massive shove probably just saved him there. We got that Crushing Jaws coming out onto Battle Hill. Johanna having to pull back is very low. Uther trying to catch up. The silence coming in is gonna keep Johanna alive. Now Zul'jin, however, not so lucky as Kira hitting with the Final Strike. And you know what? Orphea finalizing the deal on that Johanna, as mentioned earlier. Here comes the biotic emitter, a little bit late perhaps. And this should be another Protector now for Ghosts of Yavapai. There's no way that Johanna and Zul'jin can get here. They won't be alive before this channel's done. Let's check in on Zul'jin's stacks. So 140 on Zul'jin. And yeah, so and Azmodan has completed his 400. Probably completed that a while ago. But Zul'jin's still 10 away from getting that second cleave rotation. And that's a big deal. I mean, we're level 21. That's you want that additional damage. Azmodan getting massive value out of that level 16. Keep in mind, of course, that is percent damage there, 4%. It's against a bunch of relatively low health heroes. You know, you're not throwing this against a Diablo or a Stitches. But it's still value. The massive shove, probably, you know, maybe a little anti-synergy there. as the deep breath going out as well. So far we've seen a couple of those, like the massive shoves just kind of not working out the way that they'd hoped that they would. There goes the glove there, the force punch onto Azmodan. Kira looking for Zul'jin, does have that Taz Dingo, so Kira's got to be careful. The blinded, or the Blessed Shield going out on Kira, and there's Zul'jin getting his stacks at the very end of the game. And at the same moment, Kira popping off with a final strike to finish the game, with a kill onto Zul'jin. So game number 1 gonna go over to Ghosts of Yavapai. So they controlled the objectives on this map. You can see it in the stats, and the late game value that WeThePepegas was looking for just didn't quite come online. They did get some kills. They came back into this game a bit, but it didn't quite get to where they wanted it to, what they were trying to go for with their team. And I think at least part of that comes from what you could tell with like the Zul'jin couldn't quite get stacked to be able to get that second cleave. Now, granted, the talents didn't really support that, you know, talent build or the concern over having that second cleave, but you know what? Why not? It's extra damage. So, all right. So, come back over here, give them their point, and get the game back to loaded. So that was game number 1. Let's see where we are going for game number 2. Oh, I gotta go back to the replay browser. Let's see. There it is. Alright, so game number 2 is going to take place on Tomb of the Spider Queen. It was the selection of WeThePepegas. Now, this is kind of an interesting match because this was before Deathwing was opened up. He wasn't, I think he may have been released by this point, or very close to it, but even if he had been released, he wasn't available to play. This would have been before the Oriole changes as well, so kind of a different setup from the end of the season, where we see a very high priority on first pick. We see a high priority onto heroes like Deathwing, Oriole, Greymane, all of those heroes that saw some significant boosts. Alright, so getting the game loaded, and because this is an older replay here, it does take a few moments to load, and all the settings are reset every time I load the game, so it's gonna just be a moment while that takes place. Let's take a look at our maps though again. As mentioned earlier, we saw that WeThePepegas selected and won game number 1 there on Volskaya Foundry. They are also the map selection of Tomb of the Spider Queen here, game number 2. All right. Bans there from Ghosts of Yavapai. We had the bans on to Cursed Hollow and Towers of Doom. And for WeThePepegas, banning out the Battlefield of Eternity and Dragonshire. Those down. All right. Let's get into game number 2 on Tomb of the Spider Queen. On the left, we have Ghosts of Yavapai, currently up 1-0 in this best of 3. It's going to be Andrade on the ETC, Lilabelle on Rhaegar, Shank B on Jaina. Hybrid Remix playing the Cassia, and Mega Milk on Imperius. Over to the right, we've got WeThePepegas. So we've got Battle Hill playing the Blaze. We got Ryder on the Nazebo. Ana going to be played by Afreya, Luchamite on the Uther, and Chelsea once again playing Zul'jin. So, a little bit different build here already. We see Zul'jin going into Headhunter instead of the Grievous Throw earlier. It's going to be the Neural Stim Pack here for Blaze, so getting that cooldown reduction. And the Sleep Dart build for Ana. And Thing of the Deep. So this was, I believe, back when it's still 10%? Yeah, this is the early version of Thing of the Deep. So this is a very high-powered bonus, getting that additional spell power, but also the Ravenous Spirit value as well. So we'll see how Nazebo does in this game. Meanwhile, we do have the poke build here for Cassia, getting Thunderstroke, so eventually she'll have that extra javelin to throw. ETC, they're getting a little low, has to use his healing well. Also, Imperius going into the Celestial Charge build here, Impaling Light. So, additional damage and cooldown reduction. We've got the Fingers of Frost for Jaina, so she's going to have that Globe Hunt going on, looking for that additional mana regeneration, but also the additional chill damage, 10% additional damage when she hits heroes, or I guess targets, that have been chilled. Jet Propulsion being used by Blaze as the rotation from Ghosts of Yavapai down into the mid lane. And right now, I mean, the value of this wave clear definitely in favor of Ghosts of Yavapai. Oh, yikes. Zul'jin getting caught by the Imperius. So once again, the bot lane combination there going in favor of Ghosts of Yavapai, and we missed our first blood. Ana going to come down here, wants to make sure she picks up any gems she can get, as well as gather the XP. But Blaze also here now. Not looking to get the kill onto Imperius. That's unlikely with Ana and Blaze, I say, as they land all of their skill shots. And it's going to be Nazebo in the top. So again, we can't check these unless we do it manually. So currently Nazebo sitting at 28. Now keep in mind that at 50 and 100, Nazebo gets a spell power bonus of 10%. So ultimately 20% when he completes that. And, you know, that's for doing something Nazebo wants to do anyway, right? He wants to stack that Blood Ritual. And this is a map where he can do it pretty effectively, but he's also kind of behind, right? He's being left to his own devices up in the top lane, so he's not able to get the rotation of a double lane soak and ultimately getting those minion kills that much faster. And so when Ghosts of Yavapai comes up here, it makes it a little bit harder for Nazebo to not only get his stacks, but also to gather those gems and get the XP. So they may fall a little bit behind here, the Pepegas, because of that. But again, another late game comp. Zul'jin, Nazebo, looking for what they can make out of this later in the game rather than what they can do early game. And Tomb of the Spider Queen, well, Jet Propulsion going to come in this time with the Uther. They might be able to finish off the Imperius, and they get him. That's 11 gems there, 12 gems that are going to fall. But Hybrid Remix is able to pick up most of the gems that were on the ground here. But so far, it's 40 gems in the hands of Ghosts of Yavapai. Only, oh, I'm sorry, 11 were turned in for WeThePepegas. So they're actually about even. But considering that Imperius had 11, overall, Ghosts of Yavapai have been doing a better job of picking up their gems. So, and I think at least part of that is because of the, you know, the desire to have Nazebo here in the solo lane. Nazebo going into Big Voodoo, so giving him additional health and mana over time. So it's going to be very important for Nazebo to pick up those healing globes. Rotation coming in from Ghosts of Yavapai, so they're going to get another kill here on the siege camp. They're going to steal that away. Good call from them. Good paying attention to the macro, and that's going to give them the opportunity to turn in quite a few gems here. ETC, though, still has most of the gems for his team, so it's going to be on ETC to get the Web Weavers onto the map. Hey, Lid! It's good to see you, buddy. Thanks for the sub. Mid lane here, Cassia is going to end up popping that level 4 blind. And you don't see that too often. I'm actually a little bit surprised to see it just because of the, you know, who's she trying to blind? I guess maybe the Uther and the Blaze, but I don't know. Like, that's... Because if she gets stunned or rooted, that's not going to blind the Zul'jin. Because I can't believe he'll be close enough. But the first Web Weavers of the game coming up here for Ghosts of Yavapai. Great zombie wall from Nazebo. And what I was talking about earlier is you know, Nazebo needs to be picking up those globes. You can see he's got almost no mana. If he had enough mana there, Cassie would have died in that zombie wall. What's with that team's... Yeah. It's a meme. I don't recall the full breadth of the name, but they adjusted it from last season. They wanted to have, you know, the longest name they could, and so they abbreviated it because we shortened the requirements for how long your name could be. The Webweaver Wave gonna get some value there onto both Ana and Uther, and that's not an insignificant amount. It's 600-700 damage, so you really want to make sure that you're not getting hit by that whenever possible. But so far, just this one tower down, got the wall. In the mid lane, though, the Webweaver left to its own devices has built quite a minion following here, so it's going to get the full wall down as well. And Imperious pushing in the bot lane, they should be able to get the bottom fort. So a pretty high value Webweaver wave coming out from Ghosts of Yavapai. And 37 gems available, so more than enough to turn in. Let's see, who has them all? So Uther's got 10, he's the big one. And Blaze is the other big one. So those two have the bulk of them and ultimately need to turn in. So we did see here Uther going into the Holy Fire, by the way, so not taking the Holy Shock, so he's just going to do that extra AoE damage. But level 10s are available for Ghosts of Yavapai, so this is a position now where WeThePepegas needs to be a little bit careful. Uther's going to try to get turned in here, is going to get caught by the Celestial Charge. Did turn in his gems, but now the Webweaver's coming up, and that is going to be kind of a dead Webweaver phase, maybe. With Uther not being on the map here, that should give a little bit of value to Ghosts of Yavapai to be able to clear up these Webweavers largely uncontested. Especially, oh my goodness, what an interrupt from Ana there. Just a moment later, that would have been a full cooldown, but Zul'jin kept alive thanks to that sleep dart. And now Rhaegar caught in the zombie wall and the Ancestral coming too late. Zul'jin getting the second kill of his Headhunter there. Nice stun coming in with the Divine Storm and the Ball Lightning going out, getting some value. And Cassie, I just mentioned it right here. You got to watch out for that Webweaver wave. Getting the fourth kill, a quad kill for WeThePepegas. What a great turnaround for them, as the Webweaver's now going to get some value. We've got Nazebo up in the top lane, and Nazebo's going to do a lot of pressure up here. Let's check on his stack. So he's sitting at 108 stacks, so he's got that 20% spell power bonus in addition to his, what is his ultimate? Ravenous, yeah, of course, it's Ravenous Spirit. There was no question. Also expect to see the Soul Rip? No, that's Malthus. Anyways, the Soul thing that he gets at level 16, so that he gets even more spell power, up to 35% additional spell. Can you imagine 35% additional spell power? Oh, and health. Ana this time gonna get caught by ETC, and the knockback in a triple mosh pit here because of that. Ring of Frost did come out, but not quite able to get the damage. They get the Ana, but ETC goes down as well. Big combustion. Jaina looking like she's gonna fall, but oh my goodness, such a bloodbath. 4 kills coming out for Ghosts of Yavapai, only 2 for WeThePepegas. So ultimately, yeah, I mean, the ultimate's used. You got that Ring of Frost, you had that mosh pit, so it took a while for them to quite get what they were looking for, but they did eventually get there. Mic check. The pick for ETC. I'm trying to figure out how did that third person get knocked in? Imperious doesn't do that, right? Maybe they did maybe it was a jet propulsion? I don't know, because there's nothing else that really would have done that. Nice to run into your doppelganger the other day, not once but twice. Oh, well, you know what? I mean, there's some Aero's a good guy, I'm sure. Did you tell him that you knew me? That you were like, hey, we're cool, we're old buddies? That's at you, Litterrock, by the way. All right, Bruiser Camp's picked up by both teams. 46 gems here for Ghosts of Yavapai currently. ETC trying to make his way out. And it looks like now Ghosts of Yavapai have enough to turn in for Web Weavers. WeThePepegas pretty far off. Losing those 4 heroes put them back quite a bit in the gems. So they really need to find themselves a solid team fight. Both teams are on the same talent here, although a slight advantage to Ghosts of Yavapai because of their level. Are we seeing a boss play? Is that what this is? We see the pings calling for it. But there's, yeah, I was gonna say, there's no way, like, no way that WeThePepegas lets that happen. Oh, yeah, his account level was a mere 1600. What a loser. Right? Yeah, gotcha. That's funny. So still just kind of this stagnant, you know, neither team really pushing for team fighting too much, but it is going to be Ghosts of Yavapai getting closer and closer to level 16. So WeThePepegas looking for something. They do get the double mosh pit here, gets put to sleep. Zul'jin with the Taz Dingo, Ring of Frost coming out as well, but Luchamite going to be the one to fall. ETC and Zul'jin going down as well. Jaina going to get taken out there with Blaze in the backline. The Imperius getting a soul charge. Almost enough to get the Cassia with that Crossfire. Crossfire? He didn't take Crossfire. So almost enough to get Cassia with the Flame Stream. If he had Crossfire, probably would have been enough. And Lilabelle, oh my goodness, Rhaegar just barely getting out of there for the moment. We'll see if they're able to... Oh, yeah. Yeah, Rhaegar's so done here. That's going to be 22 gems falling on Rhaegar as well. Now, this should be, with that staggered death, this should be a boss for WeThePepegas. Or not. Getting some turn-ins here. Only one more gem required. We see that Imperius does have that. He's got all 3. 100% of the gems for Ghosts of Yavapai. But with that kill, WeThePepegas evening out now on the talent here. So, okay, so we've got the 2 Toads of Hugeness. So that could be a lot of damage with that spell power. I'm a little surprised, though, that we see the Ring of Poison. So, I mean, Ring of Poison gets a lot of damage done, but I feel like the Soul Power one, what's it called? I gotta check. Soul Harvest. I feel like that just gets so much value with this build, or at least it certainly used to. But if you're hitting your zombie walls, and Nazeebo has been, then, I mean, that can still do a lot of damage as well. Getting a nice root there, the Ball Lightning coming out, bouncing onto Blaze. Blaze doesn't have bunkers, so he can't get out of that. Divine Shield, or Divine Storm rather, coming out. TC's going to get the charge in. The Ring of Frost hitting onto Zul'jin, so he's going to have to pop Taz Dingo. But Zul'jin's going to fall, not before he can get the kill onto Rhaegar, though. Uther falling shortly thereafter. ETC looking for more, chasing down the Nazeebo, and there's that Ring of Poison, but Imperius is able to Celestial Charge right on out of there. And so this time, the 2-for-1 kill advantage going over to Ghosts of Yavapai. Very back and forth on this game. Pretty even here. Nazeebo, though, getting caught, is going to be caught in the mosh pit, and it should be... Oh, my goodness, no way. No way! Wow. Afreya, like, throwing this team over the shoulder and carrying hard. With so many mosh interrupts, and I mean, the fact that Afreya was able to keep Nazeebo alive there is just absolutely bonkers. Blue team coming in with the Web Weavers, Ghosts of Yavapai. And their lanes are relatively pushed in the top lane here. A little bit before the mid level for, well, for the mid. It's really bottom that has the most value, or at least the farthest up. And that's why WeThePepegas heading down here to start with the bottom Web Weaver. They pretty much are going to sacrifice this top fort because of that. But ultimately, they're not going to lose any keep damage, which is, you know, really important to them. Uther coming up is by himself, so has to be a little bit careful here. This is a 4v1 if he gets too close, and that would be an easy kill. No Nazeebo. Let's check in on him. He's got 205, so he's just continuing to stack, becoming more and more of a tank now with that health pool. Also has the superstition, so gonna be reduced spell power damage coming into him, which is really nice when you've got say, I don't know, Jaina Ring of Frost. Just takes one auto attack though to turn that off. So the keep wall goes down in the top. We see the retreat pings coming in, and Blaze going in with that jet propulsion. Uses the Pyromania here, but Ball Lightning just gonna get spread around a bit.
Gather their gems. Bring them to me. Do this now.
And that's it. Webweaver's done. So mostly up in the top lane, getting the value on the fort, getting the fort wall. And both teams looking at their bruiser camps once again. There's been quite a bit of focus on getting these bruiser camps in this game. We don't typically see a lot of camp gathering in Tomb of the Spider Queen, but today it's definitely been the focus. And now it's been a while, but WeThePepegas now does have enough for a turn-in. They don't have level 20s though, so almost a dead turn-in here if they turn this in. The Webweavers, you know, pushed up fairly decently into their side as well, so getting a bunch of them turned in is going to help them. They really just kind of need to gather the XP where they can and work toward that level 20, because they don't really want to take that fight against Ghosts of Yavapai. And Ghosts of Yavapai isn't yet there, but they do take a fight here. They get the kill onto the ETC with the root. The Death Mosh coming in though, and Ball Lightning going out. There's jet propulsion into the zombie wall, so he's actually not going to get anywhere as Uther's going to fall. Has Dingo used there, looking to get the Jaina, but the Celestial Charge coming out and taking the Zul'jin out. Jaina falling there to the zombie wall, and Cassia as well, thanks to that poison that we talked about earlier that I said, nah. So a 2-for-3 trade there, and getting level 20s is now WeThePepegas. Oh, and by the way, Nazeebo did that without his level 20 talent. Whenever they got those in the middle of that. So still no level 20 though for Nazeebo. Like, this is Vile Infection, right? Like, there's no question. There you go. So all right, now WeThePepegas, they get their oh, nice jet propulsion into the zombie wall. So both of these two are stuck, but you know what, Nazeebo over here just trying to get this boss. He wants to bring him on the table, has the Ana to help out, but doesn't have a whole lot of health. Webweavers are here, but now this boss ends up being a little bit of a joke, because everybody's coming up and the Webweavers are not getting anywhere. They're already at half health in the mid and bot lane. Top lane is moving forward. I mean, honestly, if I'm Ghosts of Yavapai, just clear the Webweaver, because then you can clear the boss when it's coming in as well, and that's what they're gonna do. So really no value out of that Webweaver turn. I think they should have just focused on getting the boss first and then, you know, doing the other. Mosh Pit coming in is on the Zul'jin. There's the sleep. Blaze coming in with the combustion, with the big Divine Storm, and full value on that combustion. Triple kill. Death Metal going off in the background to slow things down, but that's it. That's all it can do. The boss sitting very healthy now, and this boss is making its way onto the keep, and with only an Imperius and Rhaegar, there's no way that they back out of this, right? They've got a 80% or so health boss, and they are making their way onto the core. Is there anything that Imperius and Rhaegar can do? Well, Rhaegar needs to get some mana, so he's going to pop back into the graveyard. And Imperius does get the Celestial Charge, but he gets stunned and then pounded by the boss. Wrath of Angiris going out onto the Zul'jin just to keep Mega Milk alive for a moment, but not quite enough, as he will fall going into the graveyard. And that's going to be game number 2 going over to WeThePepegas. And I actually did that whole thing with the wrong team on the scoreboard. Awesome. Let's fix that. The blue team won that one. Red team won that one. My bad, guys, when you come back and watch this later. So 13 kills to 18 on that. We see Zul'jin did get his stacks in this game. Went a little different build too, going into the cleave here. With the Headhunter, of course, Headhunter providing additional damage and range. Going into the regeneration and force medicine, so being able to just pop that regeneration without worry. You just, hey, it's a hot now that you don't have to worry about moving from. All right, so let's get this game set up for number 3. And game number 3 takes place on, let's see, map pick. It is Ghosts of Yavapai who selects this, and it's Sky Temple. Okay, getting the game set up now. So game number 3. All right, so checking out these maps once again here. I even said it earlier. I was like, well, yeah, they won that. They didn't. Ghosts of Yavapai won that first game. So far, Volskaya Foundry was selected by WeThePepegas. It was won by Ghosts of Yavapai County. Tomb of the Spider Queen was selected and won by WeThePepegas, and then game number 3 here is going to be the selection of Ghosts of Yavapai. Our bans, starting off with Ghosts of Yavapai, banned out the Towers of Doom.
I would prepare for your
Pause that. Towers of Doom and Cursed Hollow, while WeThePepegas banned out the Dragonshire and Battlefield of Eternity. Alright, so let's get the sound fixed here real quick. Alright. And here we go. Game number 3 between Ghosts of Yavapai and WeThePepegas. On the left, we have Ghosts of Yavapai. Andrade going to be playing Arthas. We got Hybrid Remix on the Orphea, Lilo Bell on Lucio, Shank B on Raynor, and Mega Milk on the Ragnaros. And for WeThePepegas, it's going to be Battle Hill on Johanna, Chelsea playing the Falstad, Ryder on the Kael'thas, Afreya there on Lily, and Luchamite on our good friend Uther. So I believe so far, I think, yeah, Uther's won every game this match so far. And of course, this is before Uther had, I think, 2 rounds of nerfs since then. So we'll see how Uther performs here in this game today as he went up to pick up the Vision. Now, in this case, Uther is your offlaner, right? So he's going to head up here. Taking the Holy Radiance, so a little bit of a different setup here, but that's going to give, over time, that'll increase the Devotion Aura armor for a half a second. And of course, depending on the other talents, may see things like the additional healing received and things like that. So it also does provide a reduced cooldown based on the targets that he hits. So Ragnaros there getting pulled in by Condemn is, wow, just able to make it out. A stiff breeze would have taken out Ragnaros there. So Lucio's going to come down and help to make sure that the XP here is picked up. Didn't realize that Kael'thas was there, so getting some extra, just taking some free damage there from that Living Bomb. We do have the camps available, and we see the pings calling out from WeThePepegas going there. It is going to be Wingman for the Falstad, so he's able to gather those bribe stacks and eventually will increase the damage of his Lightning Rod. Checking in on the top, just because, you know, those solo lanes have been the early kills in this game so far, but right now it's looking once again like Ragnaros, so he's going to make it out. So Raynor, however, in the mid lane. I'm going everywhere trying to find where these guys are getting low, and of course it's always in the location that I'm not early in the game. So with the siege camps being picked up by both teams here, a little bit more value from WeThePepegas as they're able to get a little bit of damage onto this wall. Falstad gonna try to clear out the siege camp. Megamilk though looking to try to charge in and see what kind of damage that they can get onto the back line here. Could have sworn I heard Chen. That wouldn't make any sense. Alright. Arthas here going to get stunned by Uther, and Uther once again going into that Holy Fire, so we can see he is doing that burning damage to enemies nearby. As the first temple's coming up, Falstad going to fly down, try to get some additional damage in on the Ragnaros, and of course, Ragnaros says, "Not this time, I'm out of here." That first time was a fluke. And Arthas going to head back. Wants to fill up, get that full health and mana. But the Bruiser Camp here for WeThePepegas should provide some pretty good value. It's going to head into this top lane. And with that comboed with the shots from the tower, may be able to see this top fort going down. But not if Raynor and Orphea are hanging out on it. Right now, they're able to pick up at least the first few shots. Uther the only one here in the top, so Lucio kind of stalling him out. But over in the mid lane, it's going to be Johanna and Lili. Arthas going to land the Howling Blast onto Lili, but it's a 3 versus 2 here as Kael'thas showing up to the party. Uther coming down as well, so full 5-man team. Condemned coming out looking for the Arthas, and they get it. Johanna just at the end, they're able to use the punish to get that kill on the other side of the wall. Lucio trying to keep this Bruiser Camp from getting too much value. So pushing them back, keeping their focus occupied. Or if you're going to get stunned by the Uther. But it's just Uther in a Bruiser Camp versus 3. And honestly, I think Uther's lucky there that the team didn't turn and focus more on killing Uther. So with the mid-temple fully complete, it's going to take down all the way down to about 20% on the mid fort. In favor of WeThePepegas there. So that's where most of the damage went. We do have in the top lane there getting some damage onto in favor of GhostsOfYavapaiCMYCCaSTT here. So relatively equal. Ultimately, both teams could finish off those temples with, you know, relative ease. But right now, WeThePepegas ahead in the XP just a little bit by about a quarter of a level. Of course, with level 10, expect to see that switch in the other direction. GhostsOfYavapaiCMYCCaSTT have the Ragnaros. Should be able to make use of the Lava Wave to keep in the game a little bit. So, Kael'thas here going into not only Mana Addict, but also Mana Tap. So, wants to always have mana. And looks like WeThePepegas gonna try to come in, maybe finish off this mid fort. They're gonna have minions here soon. They also have Johanna to pop that Iron Skin, which she did take a couple of hits. But ultimately, they will be able to pull this down. Now the question is, will they end up paying anything for it? And it doesn't look like it. They're gonna be able to make it out, Lili and Falstad. But in the top Bruiser lane, GhostsOfYavapaiCMYCCaSTT, they're pushing with just the Raynor. The stun coming out from Uther, but they don't have enough to pull him back and finish him off. So just going to be a Bruiser Camp clear. Level 10's coming on very soon. And this next temple is going to be in the bot lane. Nice rotation in. We even see the rotation, or the retreat pings being called. But ultimately, you know, Kael'thas just not in a position to get out. Alright, so I've missed all of the kills in this game, and I think they've all been mid lane. So Ragnaros thrown out the Lava Wave into top lane here. Level 10's on for both teams. And even with their Kael'thas down, WeThePepegas is coming in with 3v5 ultimately, as Kael'thas was down, but Falstad was back as well. But they do burn some ultimates. Sound Barrier was used, Army of the Dead was used. So, value. There's the Divine Storm, and Hinterland's Blast is going to help them secure the kill onto Lucio, but Uther's going to fall for it. Arthas doesn't have Army of the Dead anymore, so he's going to fall next. Kael'thas getting taken out by Rainer's Raider there. And Johanna might be the next target, but not quite able to get there. Falstad being chased by the Raider, and he's going to be able to use that boomerang to get, or that hammerang, I guess, to get, get away, kill that Banshee. But Falstad now running into Rainer here. Rainer's just throwing those out, but the blind coming out from Johanna is going to keep Falstad nice and healthy. And you see the danger pings, an interesting thing for the danger spot there. Orphea coming in, trying to get some damage, but Johanna's all by herself into 4 members here of Ghosts of Yavapai. Oh, there's the Cloud Serpent Water Dragon thing, and now Ragnaros is getting pulled back in. A double kill here, and Pyroblast looking for the Rainer is going to be able to get there, no problem. Arthas being caught, and that's a triple kill for WeThePepegas. Fantastic play by them there, and now they can leave one on this point. Lily's the best one for it because they do still have the heals of Uther, and rotate up, grab this boss. And that's going to be very high value for them because this temple now is complete. It's going to get this bottom fort to about 1/3 or maybe even 1/4 of its health. And so this boss will rip through that easily. Falstad's even going to bribe this close camp to give plenty for Ghosts of Yavapai to deal with. And the minions actually will take care of even that bottom fort. But they're so very slow on this. They don't have the consistent damage they need to take that down. And if Ghosts of Yavapai was a little bit more aware there, they might have been able to bring their team in and stop that. But ultimately, it's going to be WeThePepegas picking up the boss. Lava Wave's going to come down to clear out the lane at least, gather the XP, but also to make sure that their own minions get some damage onto this boss as it's making its way up. It's now going to clear out those minions, though. But that's okay. Lava Wave opened up the entire bottom lane. Plenty of space for Ghosts of Yavapai here. But with that, WeThePepegas getting their value up in the top lane. Now they need to leave here soon. They have to recognize with the boss dead that it's taking a little bit of time for Ghosts of Yavapai to rotate in. And here they come, looking for the root. They get the root onto 2. The Crushing Jaw's coming out, but the Hinterland's Blast coming in as well. Arthas gonna fall, and Pyroblast going to take out Orphea. Actually, I don't know that Pyroblast killed Orphea. I think Orphea died something else there. How did Ragnaros die? Oh, because the Living Bomb's being spread. Yeah, that's what I think happened, is Living Bomb killed the Orphea and then got the others. So, Sound Barrier used, but it might not be enough. The Lightning Rod, just so much damage from Falstad. Let's see, how much is his Lightning Rod doing? Additional 20% damage, but he did go full Lightning Rod build, so he's getting extra shields, he's getting extra damage each hit, extra rage. And, you know, both of the last 2 games, Ghosts of Yavapai looked like they were in control for most of the game, although, of course, the second game, you know, they kind of lost that toward the end as WeThePepegas came online. WeThePepegas in this game have really felt mostly in control. There were some moments where things were a little bit more even, but it feels like this has slightly been the needle pointing towards WeThePepegas this game. Arthas is not with the team. This is super dangerous. They don't have Sound Barrier. There's the Lava Wave going in the bottom lane here. And Arthas is now with the team. Falstad's bottom, so this is a great play for them. Nice Crushing Jaws onto 3, but it's going to be Divine Storm coming in, deleting Arthas there. Johanna did fall in that encounter, though. So, and as you can see, the health bars here for WeThePepegas is very low. So is Orphea. That was a fantastic setup from Hybrid Remix to get that Crushing Jaws 3 heroes into it, but it just wasn't quite enough. There wasn't enough damage from the rest of the team to convert those to kills. And Falstad here taking all that damage from the shrine defenders, the temple defenders. He's gonna have to hearth away, but again, he's Falstad. He can global in anywhere. Kael'thas is going to have a little bit of a tough time here if nobody's going to come help him. And we see the movement being saying, yeah, okay, I get it. We're coming. Has to use that Mana Addict. Isn't killing the mage minion, though. Like, isn't specifically targeting that. So all of those living bombs and everything aren't getting quite as much damage as they could. And Uther did go into Tyr's Deliverance here. So 40% increased healing when he hits heroes with that Holy Radiance. So that's a big benefit, especially with having the Lili as well on your team. Arthas pushing back the Falstad. Falstad just trying to gather the XP from this lane, trying to stay relatively safe. Doesn't want to get caught by a Howling Blast. Like that one there that he just avoided. And Army of the Dead, not used, I don't think. Oh, it is used. Yeah, they're right there. They're just hanging out. Wonder why they're just hanging out. Like, see right over here. This guy's just hanging out. He's literally not doing anything and not attacking, not with Arthas. Ultimately, just playing the heal bot there. Arthas gonna get caught by the Water Dragon. Uther gonna get caught by Crushing Jaws though, but no follow whatsoever. And it's actually gonna be Falstad going to town onto the Arthas, bringing him down. Divine Storm, big whiff. But Orphea gonna have a Pyroblast. I don't think there's anything to be done about that one. And Falstad agrees. He just says, you know what? I don't need to wait for that Pyro to land. Let's just go ahead and finish this kill. Temple is available in the bot lane as well. So pushing into this with your Kael'thas back, probably not necessarily ideal. I mean, yeah, you do have the numbers advantage, but it still seems like that'd be a little bit of a question. We see the pings calling for the boss. It's only a few seconds away. And so WeThePepegas is going to grab this boss. I like this play because now if they can get the boss relatively easily, they send it out, they finish off the keep using the temple, but also the minions that are already here. So I mean, the minions maybe will keep that pushing up. And then the boss then heads toward core. And there's the boss going now. A little bit too late. Our Ghosts of Yavapai. Team rotating down, gonna get those shots as mentioned. That goes straight into the bottom keep here because they've already cleared out all of the forts elsewhere. Question is, how much more value can they get? They know Falstad's here, I believe. They saw him just a moment ago there. The boss is gonna sit at half health here as he gets close to the keep. And I think at this point, this is where you can call this off. I mean, this boss is just going to die to the core. They're going to give up the full temple. So now that they see Falstad up here, I mean, they've got to rotate to this bruiser camp. This has to be the call for Ghosts of Yavapai. We do see the pings. And it looks like they're going to grab some XP on the way. Level 20 is coming up soon for WeThePepegas. They are going to convince Falstad that this is not an appropriate place for him to be gathering that XP. And now Ragnaros kind of going to be devoted to the defense of bot lane, making sure that that lane doesn't provide catapult value onto the core pretty much ever for the rest of the game. Falstad getting a few more wingman stacks. He's sitting up to 40% additional damage. His level 20 is now available for WeThePepegas. And we saw earlier on Tomb of the Spider Queen, I think it was, WeThePepegas took a fight down that level 20 talent. We'll see if Ghosts of Yavapai is interested in doing the same. So Kael'thas taking the Eternal Flames here, Master of Flames. There goes the Water Dragon, a big, slow double dragon coming in, as well as the Divine Storm Crushing Jaws coming in, but not enough. Rainer going to fall as well as the Ragnaros. And this is a great place now for WeThePepegas. They can clear out this second keep. And at this point, do they continue? They've got Arthas, Orphea, and Lucio as defenders. And it looks like they're going to keep going for it. Falstad working on the Orphea. A lot of minions here pushing them back a little bit. And they need these minions to help, right? They want to have catapult value because they're just not consistent enough with the damage, but that's going to be helpful. Getting that stun onto Orphea, the extra damage, and she's going to get taken out. Now Arthas hit with the Hinterland's Blast. Double Dragon once again coming in from Lili, and that will take out Arthas. It's also going to slow Lucio, but the stun might not be enough to keep him down. But you know what? It is enough for them to make their way onto the core. And WeThePepegas coming in, losing game number 1 on Volskaya Foundry, ultimately winning Tomb of the Spider Queen, although having some struggles early game, and controlling the game in game number 3. It's going to be WeThePepegas. Four kills to 18, and we saw that the mobility of having the fall stat around the map, the stun potential between Johanna and Uther really, and the follow-up from Kael'thas really made it so that WeThePepegas had a strong showing here in game number 3. Fall stat on fire. Don't see a lot of that in these stat replays. They don't usually come up with that. Actually, you know what? It just occurred to me why, because usually we're not actually in the game still, we're showing the stat screen afterwards here. But still, 0 deaths, top damage, top XP, so you know what, Chelsea doing work. Alright, so that is it for Ghosts of Yavapai versus WeThePepegas. So I was planning to do some more. I'm absolutely exhausted. I think daylight savings time has just really, like, pounded me today. I didn't even realize the time earlier. Like, I was planning to start this at 2, and I was like, all right, it's 1:15. I'll go, you know, grab a quick snack and take the dogs out. And I came back inside, and I was like, huh, wonder what time it is. And I hit the you know, the official time from the government, and it was like, oh yeah, it's 3:10 or whatever. Oh, okay, or 2:50 or something. It was the other way around. So yeah, really kinds of all out of whack today. So want to say thanks everybody for stopping by. This is my last cast of season 8 officially. I'm gonna try to get a couple more casts in. There are 3 teams that I didn't get a chance to cast this season. You know, Yavapai was one of the ones, but I'm gonna obviously tick that off. So there are three replays that I'd still like to do here in a bit. We've got Calculated Throw versus Durotan's Couch. We've got let's see, who's the other ones? The Spoilers versus WeThePepegas, actually, go figure. And then Rewind versus Phoenix Rising Topaz. So those are the 3 matches I still plan to cast. I just can't do it today. I'm so tired. There is the Mead Hall tonight, so make sure you tune into that for the update on Season 9, the results of the caster surveys for the favorite caster, favorite co-caster, and the staff caster award, basically the most improved for the newer casters, and some other updates that we've got for the rest of the off season and the upcoming season. So thanks again for stopping by, everybody. Have a great day, and we'll see you again soon.